Good evening, good morning, good night. Welcome to another edition of Hong Kong House of Cards. And tonight we're having a scene in the House of Pentacles, mage venue, between Jason, the so-called unicorn mage,
Unicorn Wizard.
unicorn wizard, I'm sorry, and Dimitri Dragomir. I'm getting made faces at, I'm sorry. I'm going to have trouble keeping my composure at points. Anyways. In any case, we have can you still hear me, by the way?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Okay. I think they want to listen. All right, sorry. I have a slight audience to anyone listening to this. All right. Now, Dimitri is going to send a message to Jason, who he's met a few times previously and has his information. Jason's already been to the warehouse. He'll send him a text saying, "Hey, you like firearms, don't you?"
Jason text him.
That was a yes?
Yes.
Okay. He'll say, "Come on over to the warehouse. Got something you might want to take a look at."
All right. Be there in a few, I guess.
All right. Assuming you arrive there and everything else. I'm going to, for sake of time, since you've got a time limit, we'll forgo the whole Brannigan opening the door and more cracks about Brannigan's pay cuts. Assume that there are some.
After a short period of time, a really shitty-looking minivan with a few dents in the side and some scratch marks on it will roll up.
Does it say anything?
Nope. No, but if you're looking in it, there's a man wearing an almost glowing blue hoodie in the driver's seat, and then Jason's on the passenger side.
Nice. That's okay. I've got Kitty sitting next to it. No, I'm just kidding. No. Anyway, okay. You're let in. Door opens, etc., etc. Dimitri's there waiting for you. He just nods his head to follow him, leads you towards the back. It looks and sounds like there's more people here at the moment. I was hoping to get more actual players involved in this scene, but I wasn't able to catch anyone. But it's suffice to say there are other people present. I mean, there were always several, but now there are a few more. He leads you to the back where there's some things being built, and he says, "Thought I might want to get your opinion on this one item." And there's a what looks like a heavy submachine gun sitting on the counter. It looks like it's not a model you're probably familiar with because they actually built this thing from scratch. But it's got something on the back, which I'm not going to ask for a roll because it's pretty obvious. It looks something like a USB port, like something supposed to plug in. It's also got a very advanced scope, and if you want to roll me a intelligence firearms check, I would guess, if that's like knowing anything about it.
It seems like good enough. Right. Book learning is probably not applicable in this.
Which one?
Book learning.
Probably not, given this is a notebook you've ever heard of.
So.
I can't see the roll. Okay, there we go. All right. With one success, you notice there's something strange about this gun. It doesn't look like it fires out the shell casings. Like there's no spot for the shell casings to come out.
Jason's just gonna look at Dimitri. What is this?
Oh, sorry. I think a demonstration would be best. Now, by the way, if this becomes an issue for clarification out of character, based on my review of our roles for how long this stuff was supposed to take, this weapon should be done. Yeah. And the visor should be done. I don't think anything in nothing else in the suit's done, but we've probably got the visor and the gun. So he's going to pick up the gun and, to make, he checks a few things on it. He obviously knows enough to check the safety and everything else, but you can probably tell he's not like a crack shot from the way he carries this thing. It's like, here, well, we've got a sort of a impromptu firing range over here. Let me show you.
Okay.
And he takes you over to where they've got some targets lined up. It's not a long distance target range. They're not that great. But they've set up a couple barriers, very simple ones, just enough to block any stray bullets or anything. And he puts on a little visor that goes over his face and covers his face pretty much entirely. And there's a cord attached to the visor. He pulls it out, plugs it into the back of the gun, and you hear like a vague hum, like a little electrical something turned on, but then it like fades almost instantly. It's very quiet. And he like steps back a little bit, and he's not handing you any sound protective equipment, by the way, like a proper person should. He's not giving you any. He doesn't have any himself. Any reaction as he lifts it up, obviously about to fire?
Yes. Cool. 2 successes on a kinetic shield to block sound around my ears.
Okay. So, like, you're not going to hear anything?
It'll be
Or
muffled.
just blocks out. It'll be muted?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to make a Dex firearms roll.
Okay. You can also roll awareness roll to say, hey, Jason did a magic thing if you want.
Does he do anything visibly for this, or is he just winging it fast cast?
He says something in Mandarin, if you understand.
Okay. I'll roll perception awareness first.
Okay.
1 success. So I think you did something.
Yep.
I don't know details. And I'll roll Dex plus firearms plus the bonus I get from this gun from the Smart Link system. That's 2, 4, 5. Okay. Actually, no, 7 because I'm only making 1 shot. Okay, he's firing a 3-bullet burst.
Okay.
Actually gives me 3 more dice. And it's at difficulty 7 because 3-bullet burst. All right, making a roll.
Okay.
2 successes. Okay. Or 1, no. 1 success. He hits the target. Barely. The bullets kind of spray a little bit. But what's interesting is as he fires it, even through your muted sound, you don't even hear anything. Like if your thing mutes the sound enough that it would protect you against gunshots, you literally hear nothing. Like you just see like if you didn't have it, it'd be like like just very quiet. And what's more interesting is there's no shell casings coming out of the gun. It just fired all 3 bullets cleanly. I'm going to clear my screen. There we go. And after that, he just puts the safety back on, lowers it, pulls the visor off a little bit, looks over. Like he's looking for some sort of opinion.
Jason will kind of have a somewhat impressed look on his face.
Says, would you like to try?
If you wouldn't mind.
All right. Try and look through this. It should be usable. If you see any buttons for vision modes, don't try those. They're not done yet.
Okay.
And he gives you the setup, how to do it. As soon as you look through the visor, you can see, like, as you would normally see through, you're just looking through tinted glass, essentially, tinted red. But it's kind of like the Terminator vision. And it actually looks very similar because objects are being highlighted. Like, it's assessing, like, if you wanted to hit, it's based on where you're looking. It's like, if you want to hit this target, aim for this trajectory. And it's giving you, like, aim assist tips. It's not taking control of you or the gun, but it's giving you, like, optimal firing solutions, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And giving you chances of hitting almost. Not, like, actual percentages. Just like, this is good. This is very bad. Why are you pointing it at yourself?
Yeah.
Essentially, if you're going to try making 1 shot and nothing else, you get 4 extra dice. And obviously, if you're doing a 3-bullet burst, you get 3 extra dice and +1 difficulty. If you just want to fire a single shot, then it's just +4 dice.
Jason will just fire 1 shot down the range. It'll take a minute to aim.
Okay, I don't know if you get additional aiming benefits. I don't think you do in this case.
Okay. It's just kind of a, like, he's at firing range. This is reflex. Take a second to aim and make sure, like,
Fair enough.
everything.
So that'd be Dex plus firearms plus 4 dice.
Okay. Yeah, I already got that.
Nice.
Just single shot, so 3 successes.
All right. Presumably you hit a lot closer to the bullseye. Or the heart, depending on what type of targets we're using.
Yeah.
And you feel recoil. Like, this thing definitely has the same kind of recoil as a standard heavy SMG.
Mhm.
But there's no, if your, I don't know if your sound effect is still going or if you dismissed it.
No, it was just for the. Did one for effect, one to duration, so it's just for you firing that one shot.
Fair enough. In that case, you literally just hear, like, it's just you can feel the kick from the gun, but you barely hear it. Like, it's audible, but you could easily miss it if someone were, like, typing.
Right. We'll just look down at it, impressed, and like aim it up in the air away from everybody. And look at Dimitri. So you're gonna have to ask, what is this?
He just smiles. He says, well, that depends. It's something we've been working on, one of several things, actually. But if you're interested, you could actually help me design more of them. It's not magical, if that's what you're thinking. At least not what I don't think you would consider it magical, nor would I.
Mm-hmm.
Just good scientific principle.
I was gonna say if it was magical for you, it probably wouldn't have worked at all for me.
Exactly. The program you're seeing was actually created with a couple of our efforts, primarily one of our adepts, Nathan Allen Connor. Or sorry, Nathan Perry Connor. I keep getting that wrong. Mr. Connor was able to create that targeting program. It's fairly effective, and more effective if you only fire once, but it can handle rapid shots. It's just not as useful. There's some other items we're working on as well, but I was wondering, actually, would your superiors in the observatarium be likely to object to you perhaps offering your services over here to assist with things like this? Munitions and the like. Nathan has some experience in this, you understand. I have the impression he knows his way around a sniper rifle, actually. But it would be helpful if we had someone else with a little experience in these matters. Plus, your own knowledge is likely outside my own expertise. None of us really have any experience with the mystical side of things, except for whatever our adepts have had.
Mm-hmm.
Notice he said adepts plural, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, wait, did he recruit another one?
I just kind of make the face when he said adepts, and then I don't think they'd really care much as long as they keep up, what I need to do over there as well, which shouldn't be much of a problem.
Telecommuting is always quite fun.
Yeah.
I don't suppose you know anything about spirits, by the way, or the dead, or any of that sort of business.
Not so much about the dead. Spirits a bit more so, but I'm not exactly the world's foremost expert on them.
Well, might be able to work something out then. We're attempting to make this place more defensible in case it should come under any sort of assault. We don't think that likely in the near future, but one always should take precautions. And unfortunately, at present, none of us have that particular skill set. We're hoping to change that. And for all I know, it might be beneficial to watch you do a little bit of your thing. And while we wouldn't be able to do your thing, we might be able to get some pointers, make some observations.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't be as simple as if we had if I say it won't be the same as if we were learning from our own people or the adepts from theirs, but it might help.
Yeah. The thing about it is, I don't really know how necessarily to teach the way I do things.
We wouldn't likely be able to mimic your style anyways, but it's more a matter of seeing what you're doing and trying to come up with something similar ourselves. We would not be able to do it your way. We're not going to draw a pentagram or, use frankincense and whatever else. He just kind of like flails his hand slightly, like, I don't know what you crazy wizards do.
Just like, well, normally I just say things in other languages or wave a rod around. So I'm not super into pentacles or anything of that nature.
Just kind of he kind of like pinches the bridge of his nose, like Harry Potter. Oh,
I was thinking more Dresden, but sure.
each to their own. And then he just shakes his head. All right. Well, if you haven't noticed, we're still assembling this facility properly, but we will have more sleeping areas soon. If you wanted to stay here indefinitely, we would be able to accommodate you. If you want to just live at the observatorium and commute over here, that could be possible, but we're trying to keep as little foot traffic as possible. We've already gotten far more visitors than we should.
Right. Yeah, I could probably stay over here a bit.
If your superiors have no issue with it, if they do, I completely understand. But I believe I've proven to them, as you may recall, that I am not the enemy as yet. He kind of smiles. Basically, it's kind of it's less of a threat, and because he's not threatening you, it's more like if you keep brain raping me.
If I thought you were an enemy, you would know.
He just nods like, I'm sure I would. So, before I show you any of our other recent projects, which I must warn you are not complete, you already saw the cloak, if you recall, the suit, I should say. Sorry, you're making me think Harry Potter again. It's not an invisibility cloak. But you saw the suit. You've seen the machine gun here. Some other weapons we're working on, but they're not complete yet. He picks up a little, what looks like it might be mounted onto your wrist, but it's a little bigger. It like either someone with a big wrist or someone wearing something on underneath this would be used, because it's not going to fit around a normal wrist. He just like holds it carefully in his hands. There's a little slot. He hits the button, and like 2.5 feet of steel come out. Sharp. And like shink. And just like carefully pushes it back against the table, kind of awkwardly, like trying to. It's spring loaded, obviously. He's like trying to force it back in. Little last ditch weapon there.
Seems pretty useful. Spring loaded heavy blade is always kind of nice.
Yeah, effectively it's a short sword, but yeah. There are some other things we're working on as well. But in any case, if you're willing to take a look over here, that would be helpful. Are you familiar with Serena by chance?
The Aetheryte chick?
Yes.
I mean, I've talked to her once or twice, but we're not like besties or anything.
Right. He's like thinking about saying something. He's just like, I don't know what's going on fully right now, but lately I heard from that masked fellow, Shar. I don't know if you've met him.
I've heard a lot of things about him, but haven't met him personally yet.
The last time I spoke with him, he said he had an enlightening conversation with Serena, and it had essentially convinced her that I was an enemy of the city. And in her own words, she no longer viewed me as an ally. So I have already informed Arthur of this, but just keep an eye, shall I say? I'm not suggesting anything so much as just be on guard. It might simply be a matter of Shar twisting the facts. I would hope so, but I've only spoken to Serena, I believe, 2 or 3 times myself, and once was at the meeting where I didn't actually talk to her.
Right.
Mr. Wainwright.
Here's the thing. You've been filled in on the whole tarot accord and the council and everything, right?
I believe so. Unless
You
there's a
have yet,
part I missed.
you have yet to do anything to prove that you are not of trustworthiness to the council. As far as I'm aware, there was that one thing where you took Shar's blood, but we figured out that you didn't mean anything by it, so you're good there. If she does anything to you or against you or anything, that is effectively an act of treason because she's going against another member of the Accord.
If anything like that should happen, though, again, I believe that would be, I won't say premature because I've already briefed my own people here on the possibility, but if something like that were to happen, I don't think it would be. One second. Sorry, just 1 second.
You're good.
Okay, sorry. All right. Where were we? Oh yeah. He said he briefed his people. Sorry, a little bit of distraction over here. He briefed his people. I have no reason to believe, other than that one statement from Shar, that anything is amiss. And again, based on what I've seen of Shar so far, I would not take his word any further than I can throw the fellow, which actually, given his size, I could probably throw him a decent distance. I'm not that strong, but in any case, I would say don't put too much concern into it. Just keep an eye out. And I've already informed Arthur about the matter, and he said he would look into it. So I trust that he has it well in hand. Just giving you a heads up should anything happen. Here, I can assure you, if she were to try anything, I'm not saying we're invulnerable here, far from it, but he just kind of like does a little counting thing in his head. As you might consider it, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Counting you, that would be 5. 5 unenlightened personnel, 5 enlightened, and plus we have a member of the hosts who visits here frequently. So yes, I don't much fancy her chances if she were to try something like that. But again, I'm hoping that's simply just, that's hopefully not going to actually occur.
Yeah, I'll keep an eye out. As for the whole spirit thing, spirits, unless they're a certain kind, are pretty unlikely to come near this place. Generally, they prefer more nature aspected or wild.
Out of character, does he know about pattern spiders?
Yes, that's why I said generally.
Okay, good. I was gonna say dude.
Yeah, no.
Okay. Yeah, but anyways, in character, he just says that sounds reasonable enough. If we can arrange that at a later date, I'm sure I'm not the only one here who would be interested in learning something about that. For all I know, Nathan or he just kind of hesitates for a minute. Mr. Castle might be interested in learning something along those lines. They're of the tradition, so it might be more their cup of tea. But myself and Miss Langley are less likely to be able to absorb the information properly. And Ava, of course, is not able to do so, I don't believe. Anyways, we'll worry about that at a later date. Cross that bridge when we get to it.
Right.
And with that, he just kind of shrugs a little bit. I'll show you some of the other things as we're working on them, but they're not complete. I've only got schematics as yet. And he just he kind of shows you one other thing that he's been working on so far, which is a little device. He says, "Do you know anything about explosives?" Like he says it completely innocently, like he's not thinking anything extreme.
I've got an introductory knowledge of demolition work.
Do you think I'm not looking for something like to blow up a building or something like that, or even a grenade? He shows you. He kind of like gestures with his hands, like showing something the size of a router. He says something that would destroy a small electronic device, but leave very little left over to pour through. Preferably a something that might fry electronics, but also destroy the physical evidence. You think that some sort of combination could be created?
Anything's possible. You put your mind to it.
All right, perhaps we can work together on that as well. We're attempting to create a method to essentially divert any attention we get should we attempt to do any long distance, kind of shrugs, any long distance reconnaissance. We don't want any traces brought back to us.
Right.
But we'll worry about that later. And since I know, Tiger, you still got to go soon, right?
Yeah, I have to go here in like half an hour.
Okay, we can, honestly, unless there's anything else that we need to do, we can probably end the scene here. Unless there's something else you got to handle.
Nah, I think I'm okay.
Okay. In that case, he'll just show him a bit more of the facility. It's still obviously at the very early stages of construction. Like there's barely a little second floor overhang started. The rest of it's empty space, and, little workshops on the floor. With that, we'll end the scene here. Thank you, players, for players. Thank you players for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching, and have a good night.